What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back again with another 90-Day Fiancé video, and this one's all about Bilal and Shaeeda in the most recent episode of Happily Ever After Season 7, Episode 17. And we all know what's about to go down, and what's about to go down is babies. So, yeah, so exciting. But either way, though, please make sure you start off by smashing that subscribe button, like button, share the video. And you know what? Let's not waste any more time, and let's get into this utter madness.
Go, my lady.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I like it. You like it?
It tastes like cardboard.
It tastes like cardboard.
It tastes like cardboard.
I'm gonna take you to the Brooklyn Bridge. Tonight's our last night in New York, and this vacation initially started for us to actually bring us closer together, but that has yet to happen. Still, right now, I'm gonna do whatever I can to try to salvage the trip, try to put a smile on her face, and give us a chance to hopefully try to connect before we leave and go home.
Sorry to break your bubble, Bilal, but there's no putting a smile on your wife's face. Unless it's about giving her a baby, there's no putting a smile on her face. And let's be honest with you, Shaeeda isn't exactly the best at appreciating anything, to be honest with you, because, well, she only cares about what she wants, which is understandable, but I still feel like it's good to appreciate when someone does something nice for you, even if it's a distraction, at least appreciate it. But that's just my argument. I mean, I've made this before, you know what I mean? I mean, I've mentioned it before in a previous video. Anyway, whatever, let's continue.
So this is the world famous Brooklyn.
This looks so amazing. For me, Beatrice did add some added courage to everything that's been going down. But now that I've confronted Bilal, I'm scared that this whole conversation about having children could end up destroying my marriage.
So, like, what happened? Like, we came out that helicopter ride, and I feel like after that, the whole trip kind of shifted.
You see, Bilal, I do appreciate this trip. Like this right here, this is everything I ever wanted. And you're like the perfect person, like the perfect husband.
And I feel like I'm about to get dumped right now.
I don't want to burst your bubble to make it look like if I don't appreciate you or appreciate everything you've been doing for me. I do appreciate it. But I feel like if I continue to hold back any longer, I will be doing myself a great injustice.
Babe, I don't want you to feel like you have to hold anything back. Like,
So why every time I talk about children, you don't have anything to say?
I do. I don't think you like to, listen or would like to have a child with me. All I'm saying is that, can we build a good, strong foundation? First, me and you. Man, am I wrong that I just want to spend just a little bit more time with you?
Define
Just me
a
and
little
you.
bit for me.
Like, it could be a year, it could be a year and a half. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's me, maybe I'm wrong, but I just feel like part of it is selfish, maybe, like, I just want to be with you for a little bit.
Like, I don't even want to wait a year, because I feel a year can turn into a year and a half, and then a year and a half can turn into 2 years. By the time you know it, I'm 40. And when it's time to have a child, I cannot have a baby.
Do you know what, though, I realized about what Bilal's trying to say here? And you know, I actually strongly agree with what he's saying here. So he wants to have more time with his woman, you know? At least a year and a half. And that is completely understandable. And to be honest with you, in my opinion, even generous. Because you see, depending on who you are, people have kids for different reasons, right? But people also get in relationships for certain reasons. Now, here's the thing. From a man's perspective, when a woman gets pregnant, and then once she then gives birth, her life is no longer about herself and her partner. Her life is now about herself, her partner, and the baby. But it's more or less about herself and the baby, and the man is second. You can't contest that. Don't even try and do that, because we know this is the truth. Trust me, okay? So the thing is, though, he's someone that's already been through this. So all he's saying is that, listen, like, we've only just got married. I haven't even known you for that long. I mean, listen, they've known each other for what? I mean, they saw each other a couple, like once or something like that in back home in her country, and then boom, They're now in the States. Do you see what I'm saying? So they barely even had time to build memories together. They've barely had time to make their connection even stronger. So right now, he's thinking, well, I want to have my memories and times with you first before we start a family, because I've been there. And if anything, he's probably coming from a traumatic experience. He's been there, been with someone, been married, had kids, and then maybe he's had the most common thing that happens to men. He's then been pushed aside, because men get pushed aside like more or less a majority of the time when a woman has kids, because her full focus is just on being a parent. It's not even about being a partner. You know what I mean? Women don't start to become partners until after some amount of time of giving birth. And listen, I'm not saying these things are wrong on the female's perspective, but what I'm saying is that on a man's perspective, it's not a matter if it's wrong. It's just that no man wants to feel neglected. No man wants to feel second best to anything, even his own child. A man wants to feel as equal as the child. You get what I'm saying? So if he's been through that, or where he's been with someone and they've been together, made memories, but then they've had one kid. Things have been okay, but then they've had two kids. And then boom, like, it just hasn't really been the same anymore because the priorities of the female has changed dramatically or whatever. He's obviously thinking, rah, I've been there before, potentially. So I would rather my next relationship not necessarily be the same. I would rather make sure that I'm with someone that I know I'm going to, someone that I do love, and also someone that I can actually have memories with first. And then I can have the child part, because that part of getting to know that person and having memories of that person is also part of him to indicate if this is the person that he even wants to have kids with, because he's trying to suss out, but remember, he's a calculated guy. He's trying to suss out if this woman will still continue being herself even after children per se. And obviously she hasn't been given that vibe anyway. But this is the problem with 90 Day Fiancé. The problem is that they all rush into marriages, you know, for the sake of the visa, because without the visa, they can't be together in America, and they'd have to be together in the other country, right? Which is still a good option, give or take. And that is the problem with this situation here. They was never given the time to really spend time together more and more, and to get to know each other for that more, and build memories together that bit more, and make the relationship even stronger. You do what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying everything that I'm saying here is absolutely factual to them, but it is something that is pretty much quite accurate to a lot of people's lives. People always wonder, why is it my relationship always breaks up? Why is my relationship always goes down after kids? By the time that has happened, but it's never spoken about. Like, yo, like, people need to understand that having kids sometimes can be the problem why your relationship ends up going downhill, because obviously at that time, some of our actions we are blinded by some actions in that moment in time. But hey, that's a whole different conversation. So let me not dig too deep into that one. The point in the matter is, I understand what he's saying, and I think what he's saying makes a whole lot of sense. But the fact is, though, she's in a position where having children, she hasn't got time for that, because her body is saying that you need to hurry up, which is completely understandable. Which is why in this situation here, Bilal then has to make that gamble. He's either say, you know, okay, cool, we can have the child, and gamble the fact that that child might still end up breaking them up anyway, because she might become more dedicated to being a mother rather than being a mother and a partner. And then that's probably going to make them break up anyway. And then therefore he's going to end up with another wife, ex-wife, who's got kids, which isn't ideal. So he can either gamble and give her the child now, or he can be like, you know what, I'll just call it quits. I don't want to waste your time anymore, because at the end of the day, I don't really want to end up in a situation where I have another baby mother. You know what I mean? I want a woman I'm going to be with and the child, give or take. So if I'm Bilal personally, and given that everything I'm saying is related to this situation to the slightest, I'm personally going to walk away. I'm not going to give you a child. Are you mad? We haven't even started our life together. It's just us two. Like, unless we have a foundation of ourselves and we get ourselves in a stronger place, I don't want to have a child right now, because I definitely don't want to end up being with someone that becomes a baby, that becomes my baby mom. Ain't happening. Do you see what I'm saying? If I'm gonna have a child with someone, it's a child with someone that ideally I know 100% that you're my rock. But if I still need that time with just you and I time, and he's 43, by the time they have a child and that child grows up, by the time that child potentially moves out, man's gonna be not grey, he's gonna be bold. Might even be in a war. You know what I mean? He's gonna be in his 60s, 70s. Because nowadays, to move out, you need a lot of money if you're, you know what I mean, the kid. So, oh boy, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. If I'm 43 and I haven't had a child, I ain't having a kid. Point blank, period. Fun that, man, because that's the rest of my life. Being a babysitter. Yeah. But yeah, I'm just saying, if I'm Bilal, I'm walking away. I wouldn't gamble having a child based on the fact that they may not work out. It's not a gamble that's worth taking. Too many people have that gamble, and then the child ends up in a broken home, and then that child ends up somewhere in life that either is going to be good or bad, and when it's bad, it's bad. Oh, that's a whole good rant, wasn't it now? Let's cover a lot of things in that conversation. But anyway, dropping gems as per usual.
Literally, I am trying to do everything that you wanting and asking, above and beyond. But it's not good enough. And even when I'm trying to go down to your ultimatum that you just gave me, it's still not good enough for me.
I am going to say this though. This is one thing I'm going to say for 100%. This pressure shouldn't actually be on Bilal. No, actually, no, let me change that. Bilal should have avoided this pressure by making himself clear at the very beginning. That's what he should have done. But also on the other flip side of it, the pressure shouldn't now be on him as much because it is actually her own choice to have waited as long as she has to have kids. She should have already had kids earlier. I mean, obviously, I guess it's not as simple as 1, 2, 3, but clearly she didn't find the person, right? I'm not neglecting that. But what I'm trying to say is that just because she's now at an age where she's looking to have children and now she needs to rush it, that is a problem. The fact that she needs to rush it is a problem because that means she's going to be willing to have a kid with anyone. And that's never a good look. Which therefore does ask the question, does she actually even love him? I'm just saying, she's more hell-bent on having a child than she is hell-bent on making sure that her marriage is secure. That is a red flag too. But either way though, we already know that these two should never got married in the first place. Everything's been too much of a rush, and that is just the bottom line. But anyway, we continue.
This whole baby topic is psychological torture. It is destroying my marriage, and I don't want that to happen. But at the same time, I want to have a child. I'm just scared that what there is more bad news when it comes to my fertility. What will happen to Bilal and I if we cannot have children? Where would our marriage be? I feel like I'm wasting my time.
You see what I'm saying? Her marriage to him is based on her having kids. That is the biggest problem of them all. Her marriage to him isn't even based on the fact that, listen, I love you and I would like to try and have kids, but if it comes down that I can't even have kids or whatever, we're good. She's not even given that reassurance that even without kids, they're good. That is the biggest reason why I wouldn't be wanting to have a kid with a point blank period, because she's not in it for the love. And to be honest with you, you cannot have a kid with someone if you're not in it for the love, because if you're in it for the love, then that means when you have the kid, you're both going to be amazing freaking parents. But if you're in it for the kid more than the love, then that means even when you're a parent, your relationship is going to go completely downhill 100%. Where is the love is the question. You're not in it for the love. And also, why are we wearing the same color right now? This is kind of peak still, man. I feel like I woke up and we both dressed each other.
Real to me.
Why is it real?
Well, that's the end of this segment, and I guess we're gonna find out the rest of it at the tell-all next week. So I guess we wait for the tell-all. But like I said before, everything that I said isn't necessarily 100% based on them two, because obviously I don't know the situation that deep, but I do know that it is a common factor for sometimes men to be afraid to have a child with a woman if they haven't really built a solid enough foundation with the woman per se, because it is a common thing in the man's community that most men end up leaving the women, or their relationships end up going downhill because once a child comes, the man becomes less important to the woman. And it's not a case of where the woman, like, on purposely dethrones a man. It's just that sometimes some women become so focused on being a mother, they do end up neglecting their role of also being a partner. And the crazy thing is, a man will try so many times to still be your partner, to kiss you, to love you, to say all that stuff, right? But then you'd be like, no, not today, honey. No, not today, honey. No, I'm not doing it. Oh, can you just leave me? I'm trying to be a mother. You know what I mean? And then it all goes down. And I understand that when these things happen, some women may not actually be aware of their behavior. But I'm just saying, at the end of the day, this is a conversation that is not had. And if it is had, I feel like this would be something that would probably save a lot of people, marriages, relationships, and whatnot. I'm not saying it was solve single parenting. You know what I mean? But it would make a difference. You know. Again, there's a lot of conversations in this world that are not had, and it's so sad because if they were had, life would be so much more different. But anyway, thank you so much for your time, ladies and gentlemen. I'll catch you guys down below in the comment section. Please make sure you hit that subscribe, like, and peace.